Hey everyone, Steven here with Lucky Casts, and today we're going to look at how to add TailwindCSS to your Lucky applications with a single command. But first, let's explore what Tailwind brings to the table over other CSS frameworks and why you may or may not want to use it. It really boils down to the fact that TailwindCSS is nothing more than a collection of utilities. We can see this by taking a look at the example on their website. For a lot of other frameworks like Bulma or Bootstrap or Foundation, they'd likely have a class called image and another couple called title and subtitle. This can make for really quick prototyping, but all of your designs end up feeling very similar and it's pretty hard to customize. Tailwind, on the other hand, gives you just the utilities you need in order to make your own higher concept classes like image and title or subtitle. You get to control things like the layout, the text color, the margin, and padding at a much smaller scale. Yes, your HTML does end up being a bit more verbose, but I believe that you'll have a better understanding about CSS at its core, and really start to see how powerful it is on its own without a heavier framework. I know that personally, it's helped me tremendously in leveling up my own design skills. So, how do we add TailwindCSS to our Lucky application? It's really as simple as leveraging a script I've created and the bloat gem by running bloat with go.luckycasts.com/add tailwind. That's going to install the npm package, initialize the Tailwind config file, and add it to our Laravel mix options. It's also going to import the CSS for us. Let's walk through each file before we validate that it worked and play with TailwindCSS. Let's start by cleaning up our workspace just a bit and increasing some font size. So the first file that we'll open is our package.json, and this is pretty straightforward. We just added TailwindCSS at the latest version. Next up, we have to actually include that in our webpack.mix configuration. So we add a constant for TailwindCSS. Then in our post CSS options, we require TailwindCSS and pass it the Tailwind config file that we've generated. That config file looks something like this. It's pretty simple. The only thing we're doing right now is adding some purge CSS configuration to make sure that our production bundle sizes stay a little bit smaller. Finally, to get it working, we have to actually add the inclusions to the top of our app.scss. Here we're requiring the base configuration, the components, and then some additional utilities. This can go right before everything else in the application that's generated by default. That's completely fine. Now let's head over to our application. We'll make sure that our styling is working and our page is loading. And here's the basic show page that comes with Lucky out of the box. Now we just need to restart our server. And we can see that our page changed slightly. So this is with all the Tailwind stuff loaded in, but it's really kind of difficult to tell that anything really worked. So let's go ahead and change around a page. We'll do that by jumping straight to the show page. I think we can go to me show. There we go. So this is the content we're looking at over here on the right. And all I'm going to do is delete this, and we'll delete all the other content there. We're going to empty this out, and we'll recompile. This should basically be an empty page after I'm done, except for the header. There we are. Our page is empty. Now let's fill it back up with some Tailwind content. So I'm going to go to tailwindui.com. This is a paid service, but it is really great for being able to figure out what exactly you want your site to look like. It gives you some great presets and things. I'm actually looking at the free preview stuff right now, so anyone can access these. I'm going to copy the code for this nice hero section, and I'm going to paste it in. And now I'm going to use the Lucky VS Code plugin, and I'm going to convert this HTML. So I'll use the convert HTML command. Now we've got valid Lucky. Let's save. It's going to indent for us, and we'll wait for the compile in our app. And we should see something very similar to what we just saw in Tailwind UI. There we are. So we got some funky mobile styling. We don't have JavaScript stuff hooked up, but if we expand our size just a little bit, there we are. We have our nice hero page. All the Tailwind stuff seems to be working great. We've got colors, we've got spacing, padding. Text is obviously being modified just a bit. And this page is looking great. Obviously, in the last 30 seconds, I skipped over quite a large part of web development, which is designing your site. Just using Tailwind CSS isn't going to make you a designer magically. You still have to put the time and effort into getting better at it. However, I do think that taking these designs that Tailwind UI has and being able to customize them with colors, text, different content, and different layouts is significantly easier than doing the same thing with anything you'll find in one of those larger frameworks like Bulma or Bootstrap. I'd really recommend that if you haven't given it a try, you do, and I hope that this video has helped you realize that it's really straightforward to add to a Lucky application specifically. In fact, you can do it with that one command. Until next time, everyone, this has been Steven with LuckyCasts. Have a great day.